All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final stream of this month, not the final ever.
What? I leave you guys for 1 week.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to start this right away because we were talking on stage before we went live. Obviously, I think everyone here knows the guys in the our usual guys in the comment section. As you guys know, um, uh, John was here last week, letting us know of the bad news that his father had passed away. But he was telling us before we started about how it meant to him and his family, the support that we provided, and I'm very very happy that this platform was a way that could help you, John, to kind of connect us and let us express our sympathy for your dad's passing.
Uh, yes, thank you, all of you, so much. Again, um, Dad, Dad knew that you were all rooting for him, and I mentioned everyone yesterday, or I mentioned this group at the viewing, and Mom was just so moved by the love and support and the rooting on that everybody did. And she said that if she ever gets a chance to meet any of you, know that you have a free hug coming from a very grateful woman. And just as a side note to kind of go on the topic of what we always like to talk about here, which anybody that ever wants to say that atheists can't care and can't have morals and can't be good people, I have each and every one of you now as a counter example of that. You all are the best. I'm going to stop jibber jabbering now, so let's get on with the show. But again, thank you all.
Well, a lot of times when I try to invite one of these Christians or whoever on here, one of the excuses that they make to run away is that, oh, they don't want to platform me.
Yeah.
They don't want they don't want to come on here and give somehow promote this channel, as if a channel that's not even 300 subscribers right now,
Yeah.
as if I'm doing this to make money or get some clout or whatever. I mean, I do this because the connections that I'm able to make with you guys and make with the guys that are in the chats, and that's what's more important to me than getting extra subscribers. And as I've said, this channel isn't here to you know to get to like a 1,000 subscribers even. The channel's here as an opportunity for us to connect as human beings and to be able to hold discussions. And even if someone comes on who disagree with us, I want this to be where we can have that discussion in a civil way. And if you're able to come here and you're able to hold a rational discussion that's not abusive, that's not just preaching or just throwing out claims left and right, we love having that discussion because at least for me, I think when we make connection with someone, it's a much more quality discussion we can have than on the comment section of YouTube or Twitter. And
Sure.
anyone coming on here from Twitter, know that on Twitter, I'm really, really, to put it mildly, spicy. uh, I can,
Yeah.
yeah, I can get, I can, I can roll with the best of them, especially when they start throwing out slurs or, being, insulting or whatever. So I match that. I match that energy. But when they come here, when we have a discussion, I'm not here to, put them down or, make quote unquote gotcha questions or whatever. I'm here to have that discussion. It's too bad that we don't seem to be able to get too many people who are not afraid of having that discussion. It really is too bad. But hopefully, but at the same time, we have gotten some good good discussions, I think. But hopefully, we will have in the future more people, more voices, and we're able to have the discussion. So there's that. But again, John, I'm glad that we were able to, be some solace to you. And,
Deeply.
I hope you and your family, pulls through this.
We are. Thank you. And now comes the fun part, which is just settling up the estate and settling up his just him. A person. I'm always amazed at just how much of an impact a person has on their life, even if they think that they've led an ordinary one. Because there's still bills and accounts and things that need to get sorted out now, and that's going to be a good 30 days of my life that are going to be super fun. But yeah, thank you. Let's get on with the show. Also, the reason why you should have multiple egresses when you're in northern Spain is because you should never put all of your basques in one exit.
God damn it! I was waiting for that one.
It was coming. It was coming eventually.
It was coming.
That's funny. Because I did have a tweet. Someone had brought up Basque just a couple of days ago. Oh, you know her, Carmine. She was on once before, so we were joking about something, and Basque came up. So that's kind of interesting.
Hey, do we have it? Have you heard from the young gentleman's name, the philosophy student? He was putting in his
Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, Alex. I pinged him once. He didn't respond. I think this was actually June 7th. He hadn't responded, and also around that time, I had reached out to Rex, and at the time, he wasn't able to join, but I haven't asked him again. He said he would like to stop by, so maybe next week we can have him come on.
Okay. I was just curious. Just wanted to see
Yeah, and I occasionally see him with the post, but he's not that active on Twitter, so that's why I don't catch him too much. But he didn't respond to my DM, so I just kind of left him alone.
Yeah, Craig is saying maybe Alex has a lot to do. Yeah, that's true. When you're defending a dissertation, there's a bit that gets involved in that.
When he's writing it. I think he was still in the process of doing that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's a big old job, and it just keeps sneaking up, and it doesn't matter how long you have; it's always more work than you think.
I've known I've known a couple of people that have written dissertations. And
My wife's she has a PhD, and is a supervisor for. She's had lots of students come through, get PhDs underneath her, and it just always a hard job to get to the end of that road.
And all this time, John is just like holding back on those opportunities that we were all thinking. But anyway.
All right. So how's everyone else doing?
Oh, same old thing, different day.
Sorry, I was just going to say I was having a little chuckle over the last night and this morning about a fellow who popped on to the AFP by the name of Roberto Tuvia to make a claim. Hebrew and Aramaic are both Phoenician languages. None have a J letter or J sound. No Jesus name, no Joseph, no Joshua, no Jeremiah, John. Tibetan monks claim Jesus' name was Kwahim Ib Elohim. And you just go, What's wrong
It
with
was
people?
funny.
Just honestly, what is fucking wrong with people?
You want that
'Cause,
chronologically or alphabetically?
Because we know exactly why Jesus is Jesus from the word Yeshua. You know, it gets transliterated into Greek, and there's no J. Correct? There was never any J sound in the thing. It has an I sound added there instead of the Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a strange person on Twitter. I was just trying to look it up, but he was saying that J, JSU or something is like, I think he was trying to, say it's like Yahweh, YHWH, the tetragrammaton. So it's like, I'll bring it up. I'll see if I can bring it up, but it made like no sense. Is someone laughing?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just Neil. Neil responded to Craig. He said, "Damn it, Craig."
It is funny.
Yeah. I couldn't help myself with that one.
Here, I'll show it here. It's like, yeah, this guy is, I need to load up a little bit. Come on. Okay, so this guy has started with this, so this guy against atheism, he puts up a lot of kind of straw man arguments against atheism, because apparently if he can just show that atheism is wrong, his God will pop into his existence. So,
Sure, yeah,
so he's
that's
doing
how
a lot
that
of work.
works.
Because, yeah, I mean, that's just somewhat logical. So I said, by spiritual warfare, you mean posting straw man arguments against atheism in the hope that just the right fallacy will cause your God to start to exist. And then this guy comes in, and this like same thing about how atheism is actually theism, because they believe in themselves as a pseudo deity, right? So I said, if atheists are monotheists and so virgins are those who have had sex only one time, and so he said, I'm not sure why you want to bring your mom in this, but I don't believe she could have learned the reverse cowgirl so quick. So apparently, my mom is a virgin, and I'm Jesus.
Wow.
And this is where he gets into this thing. I actually know what Jesus is, and it's from JSUS. And it's not a person, it's not a word, it's just 4 letters. That's what Jesus is. JSUS. Have any of you guys heard of this type of argument?
No. What?
No, this is a first for me.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a rapper.
It's bizarre because like there wasn't even the letter J during that time. So he says 2,000 years ago, it was impossible to have the name Jesus in Latin or Aramaic. The term Alpha and Omega was disused about 2,300 years ago. I'm not sure what that means. JSUS was altered because 4-letter words were said to be bad words. So, because people say fuck.
Wow, this guy is fucking all over the place. Because Alpha and Omega are still used today.
Yeah, exactly.
In Greek.
Yeah.
They're still Greek. They're Greek letters. It's the beginning letter of the alphabet and the last letter of the alphabet. It's the A and the Z of the Greek alphabet.
But 4-letter words are bad words, and Yahweh was another bad word.
What I love out of this is that everything that we've heard Blarg get upset about, but that's where he starts to really lose his mind. Like, there are any letters. Like, that's what pushed Blarg over the edge.
And
I'm right there with you.
And you have to just imagine Captain Picard saying, "There are 4 letters."
No. Oh, dear.
So yeah, this guy was just wacko, and I think he said a bunch of other things that I just kind of ignored. But
That
anyway,
is
yeah,
that is beautiful.
I thought that was. I mean, this guy was just like, I have no idea where this is coming from, but
See that? Just scroll back up a smidge to the
oh, yeah.
smells like shit comment.
Yeah.
There used to be this little trick you could play. Have you ever come across I don't know if you have them in America. You might have them in England. We call them spicy fruit pillows. They're a biscuit with they sort of pillow shaped biscuit with a filling of date sort of stuff in it.
Oh,
Um,
Garibaldi's.
Yeah, that might be. We call them. They're called spicy fruit pillows here. Anyway, you can get those, nibble off the outside biscuit, and then you can roll up the inside of it, and it just looks like a piece of dog shit. And you could you just put it there, find a clean spot on the floor, put it there on the ground, come walking along when someone's there, you go, oh, and just like you just notice it, ready to pick it up, have a sniff, and go, smells like shit, feels like shit, give it a bite, you go, yep, it's shit, lucky I didn't step in it. It absolutely works because it looks exactly like it. It's brilliant.
What I love
That's
is that only the
hilarious.
highest level of humor will ever be tolerated here.
Exactly. Oh, that's hilarious. But I didn't. I don't know why I didn't send out the invite for this, because I had created this stream, I think at least like 2 or 3 days ago. I guess
I saw it pop up in the things there for the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh, QC's on the ball, and then I'm looking and going, where's
And then I
where's my link?
Lost the ball.
And a ball with the balloon exploded away.
So close.
That's hilarious. So the reason why this started, or the reason why I was, kind of inspired to create this early, is because of this tweet of this person who said the heart starts beating around 2 weeks after fertilization, and brain waves have been recorded as early as 45 days. And also, before 8 weeks, they're in embryonic stage. And this was Politico HQ saying is killing a fetus before even the 4th or 5th week. It doesn't even have a heartbeat or brain activity. So I said, there's no fetal heart at 2 weeks after fertilization. It's not even it's barely an embryo.
It's 6 weeks. Well, technically, 6 weeks is 4 weeks after fertilization, because the weird way in which it gets counted. So they count from the last
menstruation.
Period.
Yeah. But it's more, I guess, precise. I guess if you say it in terms of after fertilization, right? Because we have a really good idea how that development works. So it's like, I think it had just started to implant. I think it has implanted at 2 weeks probably by then. But in terms of a heart, there isn't a beating heart. It really is literally just a set of cells.
A couple of cells.
That'll eventually develop into a heart. And it's the size of a poppy seed at that point, 2 weeks after fertilization.
Who cares if there's a beating couple of cells?
Yeah.
Who cares if there's a whole heart? What's that got to do with anything? If you take a person's heart out, but they keep, and hook them up to some machine, that keeps the blood moving around properly. That's not a person who died. They're still talking to you. So the heart has nothing to do with whether there's a person there or not. It's ridiculous. The only place where a person lives is in a brain. That's it.
By the way,
there's no person anywhere else in the rest of it.
So when that person is on that artificial heart, kind of, there's no heartbeat.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
like
right.
circulating the heart.
Yeah, there's not even a heart, let alone a heartbeat. So yeah,
But I'm saying
and they're
it's
not
not
dead.
like, it's not like in like a living human being where the blood goes, moves and then stops and moves and then stops. It's just continually circulating.
Yeah, but
But
also if
yeah,
you took out the brain, then the person is that's it. They're done.
yeah,
If you took out the brain and stuck it
yeah,
in a jar, a la Futurama, that's still the person. If they're still talking to you, or the head is still talking to you
yep,
from the jar, that's still the person. The rest of the body is just a thing that keeps the brain alive.
Yep.
yep. And that was kind of my point at the last sentence there, that it's actually very reductionist to think that a human being is just a bunch of cells, right? Just that because what they're trying to say is that because it's a cell, they're saying that it's a completely new organism, right? A separate, independent organism, and it's life. And when they say life, they're kind of equivocating there. But their idea is that as soon as that you have that fertilized cell, you have a new human being. Because from their point of view, that's all that a human being is, just that cell.
It's ridiculous because they're about as independent as a cancer. Yeah, you took them out of there, they would die just like a cancer. They're doing their own thing, just like a cancer. For all intents and purposes, a fetus is a cancer that the organism actually wants to hang around. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So this person, and apparently this person's whole thing on Twitter is, being anti-abortion, and of course, all the other stuff that go along with that, like being MAGA and all that. So apparently, I need to learn embryology and fetal development.
Well, obviously.
And of course, they want to then, because she probably realized that she's wrong, so she wants to deflect, go back to pining for men dressed as women, again demonstrating that they have no knowledge of biology. So
Also, she has no knowledge of classic theater. All of Shakespeare's plays were originally performed by men dressed as
Yes,
women.
true. That is true.
yeah, and I'm sure they were pining for those men every time there's a new play out.
I do love the question when they're looking at this about whether you'd consider an acorn to be an oak tree, because
Right.
an acorn has an embryo in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So is it an oak tree? No, it's not. It's and I've almost never seen anyone answer any other way than no, it isn't, and it's an identical position to this poppy seed. In fact, actually, the embryo that's in an acorn will be bigger than a poppy seed, because you can.
Oh yeah, of course.
I haven't pulled. We don't have them where I live. It's too hot here for oaks. But I assume they're like most other seeds. They're or what would
It's
you
huge
say? A couple of
compared to a poppy
you can see them. They're like with the naked
It's
eye.
like several
easily.
centimeters. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you crack it open, you can see it inside.
Yeah.
It's also that little thing in a peanut, the little bum on the end of the
that germ.
peanut. That's the embryo.
Yep. But just the idea, right? Yeah. So, regardless of the point that it's not a beating heart that makes a human being,
No.
regardless of that point, when you have a set of cells that's the size of a poppy seed, to think that there's a beating heart there, it's just ludicrous, right? To even say that. So this is where I call her out and say that I guarantee that I know more about development biology than she ever will. And I would be very surprised if she had taken any advanced level science courses, because I did read some of her tweets, and all the anti-abortion stuff, pretty much says that she knows nothing, no science. So her response is size is completely irrelevant to what it is. I hear that all the time. Size is definitely not the important thing,
So
right?
apparently size doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's what she said.
And she's desperately trying to deflect into the whole anti-trans stuff, right? You clearly don't know anything here. Go back to the middle-aged dude who thinks he's a girl. I mean, I just like such a transparent attempt to deflect. But what I really liked is this idea of the poppy seed. So I posted this. So this devout Christian believes that a pre-embryo, the size of a poppy seed, has a beating heart, and says that the size is completely irrelevant to the ignorant claim that there's a beating heart at 2 weeks after fertilization. Now, what's so ironic is that her Jesus said that the mustard seed is the smallest of all seeds, and it's actually 2 to 3 times larger than a poppy seed. I thought that was like so. I mean, I guess I was just like laughing at my own idea.
The only people who complain about things about size not mattering are people who can't brag about size.
Yep.
Just putting it out there. I should put it back though. I get in trouble.
My hands are normal size. I have normal sized hands.
Oh, that's right.
My hands are quite large.
Because you know what they say about people with big feet.
They
need big shoes. Yeah.
So, by the way, this is where it comes from. It's Matthew 13, 32, talking about the mustard seed. It's the smallest of all the seeds, according to Jesus. I mean, it's like, come on. The Bible is obviously not coming from a divine being. It's coming from a bunch of people who at the time thought that the mustard seed was the largest seed because they didn't have opium at that time, I guess.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it'd have to be a pretty frickin' tiny bird to be able to nest in the branches of a mustard plant.
Yeah, I wonder.
Isn't a mustard member of the like the cabbage?
Yeah,
it's in that. It's a brassica. I'm sure mustard's a brassica.
I wonder if it's maybe it's different when they say mustard. Yeah, when they say mustard tree, it must be different. So let me just bring this up here, because I never really thought about that. I just did a search for mustard tree, and this is what you get.
Yep.
So when
mustard
it becomes
plant
a tree,
is a member
it
of the genera Brassica. Yeah, it is a brassica. That is a weird thing. Maybe that's a completely different type of tree.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like the mustard that we talk about in terms of like, actually it's not. Oh, I don't know what happened here, but yeah, I mean this is like, pretty big tree. So I wonder if like the mustard, when we think about mustard, the seasoning is different from like what the mustard tree is, or are the seeds coming from trees like this? It can't be, right? What you're saying is that it's a completely different type of plant.
Those are all different trees.
Mustard tree, Middle East and Africa. Common name. Or toothbrush tree.
So there are 3 different species: brown mustard, white mustard, and black mustard. There's mustard grown for its leaves or for its seeds. Yeah, I get a feeling it's... Oh, okay, here's... because like this is where it comes from, like this is like the mustard plant that we think of, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Mustard
so
plants. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
different
and that's the
from
one that's a member
tree.
of the brassica. It's closely related to cabbages, but it
Right.
looks like the mustard tree is one level up. It's a member of the order that mustard's in, brassicales. Yeah, something like that.
Hmm.
Wonder if
So
it's
So
got
is
similar
the
smell
Bible
then.
kind of confusing the two? Then there's a mustard, the tiny mustard seed, and that tiny mustard seed doesn't grow into that tree, right? The seed for that mustard tree might be different.
not necessarily, because they are related in the same order, so they might be quite small seeds.
Okay.
So yeah, not sure. But apparently they are from the area where the Bible comes from, so Middle East, Africa, and India. So, but it says it's a small evergreen tree native to, that's Salvadora persica. It's a mustard tree.
Okay. Well, that's
20 to
kind of
23 feet in height.
so that was sort of an interesting side bar into the idea of like, okay, it's a mustard. Oh, shoot, I actually turned off the sharing. What he means by a mustard tree and mustard seed. I guess it could be right.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it depends on, what they're looking at the time.
Yes. So we'll have to take the Bible in its word and assume that it's accurate, scientifically accurate.
Yeah, it's definitely not the biggest of all trees, though, because it only grows to 6 to 7 meters, or 20 to 23 feet.
Oh, I mean, I guess it does say greatest of shrubs, and then becomes a tree. So
Yeah, that's even
maybe.
more confusing.
Wait, it's a
Because I was
shrubbery.
thinking for a minute there, you might have had a different. You might have been looking at some weird translation there, because that isn't how I remember that verse going. But I see it's the NRSVUE, so
it
we'll have
probably
to.
is
I want to
different in like the King James.
switch it to the King James and see if it doesn't have the shrubs bit in it, because that would be really interesting. That they lost the shrub bit early and then they've added it back in.
Yeah, so it is very different, which is indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that birds of the air come and lodge in the branches
Okay, so
thereof.
that's okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not
but it says
hugely
herbs,
far
right?
away. Yeah,
Yeah, rather than shrub. So, yeah, okay. That was
yeah. Maybe you can argue that that's not so bad, but it's definitely not the least of all seeds. That's for sure.
Exactly.
However you look at it.
I mean, unless you were some Iron Age shepherd who didn't know what the
Yeah.
taxonomy is, what other plants there are in the world.
Well, at the time they thought you could fit all of the animals on the entire planet,
Right.
2 of each, into, or maybe 7 of each, or maybe 14 of each. It's a bit hard to tell because they aren't very specific. Of them into a single wooden boat.
Of the
The
many
passage can
kinds
be
of cow.
taken. It's just a metaphor. You can't take it literally unless they want to take it. When they want to take it literally.
Yeah,
Exactly,
that's the thing.
Craig.
It's like, one more, it's
What
a
is a
parable,
metaphor,
this,
anyways?
whatever, it's little next, yeah.
I love talking to creationists about Noah's Ark and just asking them to name one species on this planet of bug, of animal, anything that crawls, flies, swims that would have been on that boat. Name one whose minimum viable population is 2. Or somebody said, 14 may have been a number of something that was put on the boat. Just name one animal. Yeah.
There's 2 different versions of the animals 2x2 thing, because there's one of the passages has it saying 2 of each, and then another version of it has it having 7. but 7 is a weird number, so it's not certain whether they mean 7 males and 7 females, or whether they mean 7 total, because there's also this thing about sacrificing one of them at the end of the journey.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it
But
might
still.
be that there's 3 of each, and then one of them gets sacrificed. So, but still,
Okay.
6 is not really a viable population.
Yeah, show me a species that whose MVP is 6. Just no matter what number you come back to me with, it's going to be ludicrously small. And even if you can find an animal species or something that can crawl, fly, or swim, the minimum viable population for the human race is not 8.
No.
So it's just it always fails. It just on a basic level. Simple facts. It's Noah's Ark is, even when I was a child attending Sunday school, that story just never made any sense.
So,
Sorry, I'll be good.
Going back to the abortion thing. So this is where, I made another comment about how a human being is just, because it's really weird that these Christians are being such a reductionist and being so kind of having a view of materialism in terms of how they look at what a human life is. Not once do these guys, mention, God somehow puts a soul into a single cell. When they say a fertilized cell, that's when life begins. They're kind of saying that somehow that cell has a soul. And so I made this post that, it's not just like a clump of cells, and that you can't equate that to a actual baby that's born. And these guys always run, I think on YouTube comments, I made this challenge a few times. If you could save either a whole bunch of dishes full of fertilized zygotes or even frozen embryos, or you could save one actual born baby, which would you do? And I have not seen any of them actually respond to that.
I know the answer to that tells you exactly where the problem is.
Yeah.
And
it says that they know. Yeah, right. They know it's not equal, but they don't want to say it.
See, but you know what you've done when you told them which would you rather save, a million embryos or one fully formed baby? You've given them a modified trolley problem.
Take a drink, folks.
No.
And it is. It is a trolley problem in a way, right? Just in the sense that it's a way to kind of demonstrate, what your actual views are.
Sure.
Because if your view is that embryo or that zygote is a human being, an entire new human being, and that when you have an abortion, or even when you kind of like, let's say, take like Plan B medication, that you've somehow killed a human being, and they'll say like you've killed a baby and you're a baby killer, but they don't actually believe that.
Yeah. Fun fact, Newton said that there were 7 colors because he was obsessed with the number 7.
How many ways can we go with that?
Yeah, it would be interesting if he had been obsessed with like 13. It would have like 13 colors.
On the topic
of
on the topic of abortion, I've yet to meet an anti-abortionist who, when I ask how old they are, they never count from the age of conception. They always count from their birthday, which is interesting, because if they think that all life starts at conception, they should be counting that time period. But I've never met one that did.
Yeah, so there's this one person who essentially was trying to goad me by asking kind of an inflammatory question, right? Then, when did your daughter's life begin? I didn't see this question right away, so I didn't respond to it uh, uh, because she was essentially responding to my point, that it's not the equivalent of a healthy laughing baby. And so I said, baby that's born deserves our protection and care until they can take care of themselves. Take care of the human baby with the human potentials and stop obsessing over the physiological biology of fetal development. So this person says no one thinks that, Junior, grow up. But people do think that, right? People do think that life begins at conception, and they will equivocate what that life means. So this person's question: when did your daughter's life begin? And I don't know if she'll come on because I've goaded her a few number of times to try to say that she should come on, but she made this thing about, well, I'm debating with you here and now in the
That's what they
tweets.
all say.
Yeah.
And they still lose.
Wait, I forget what is what did I say with damn it? I missed this.
Oh,
I
damn
must
it
have said
keeps you
something.
low.
Not sure. I can't believe I didn't laugh at my own joke at some point. So anyway, oh, maybe he was mentioning with something I said here. But anyway, so this thing about when did your daughter's life begin? I didn't respond to it, but it's very easy. Her birthday, she has a birthday.
Yeah.
That's when her life began, when she was born. If there were some issues and she had to be born premature, then that's her birthday. So if she was like 2 months premature, then that's her birthday. She was birthed on that day. I mean, it's like she thinks it's some gotcha question because she wants to say that, my daughter's life began at conception, right? Exactly when that, when it got fertilized and it's a single cell. And that, that if there had to be an abortion or, something happened and, that, she wasn't able, or that particular cell wasn't able to get born, then her, I wouldn't have had a daughter. That's the point. And I think she was trying to I'm sure she was trying to say that, oh, you're demeaning her life or whatever. But until she's born, she's not my daughter. I mean, she's not a daughter
She's a
yet.
possible
right?
future one.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing: if you want to make that argument, if she didn't get conceived, then she wouldn't be born. If she didn't meet the sperm donor, whoever that was, she wouldn't be born. If your parents didn't shag, she wouldn't be born. If a caveman back in 300,000 years ago didn't do their thing, she wouldn't be born. All of these things need to happen. So, you just pick one and say arbitrarily, that's the one.
Or, if it was a different sperm cell that happened to fertilize that egg, then it's a different person. It's not the exact same daughter that I end up getting. It's like, it's a kind of weird way of kind of looking at life as this particular combination of genes that end up forming this, human being.
Based upon Metathronos's argument, I think you could safely say that we're all 4 billion years old.
Yeah.
Because that's when biological life started, and we are all descendants of that living cell. So
it's just a continuation.
An unbroken chain of cells.
That's it. We're just a chain of cells from there. Biological life. That's when it started. Once.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
Only.
If you want to look at it as a biological life, that's really all it is, right? It's just all kind of continual reproduction of these cells from the beginning, but
What's
you don't
What's
want
nice about
to.
that?
Yeah.
What's nice about that though is, well, what's bad is it. I feel really old. I'm 4 billion years old, but I'm exactly the same age as my nephews who run around like young people. So that's nice. You go, hooray! I'm not old.
Not yet.
Humanity
Yeah.
games, yay!
So I have no idea what Metathronos is trying to get at here, but sorry, I missed this one. Life can only come from life. I wonder who said that.
Get out of here, Flowjob.
So he is
Literally every troll ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Florida BJ master has really come off the rails. He tried to put up a post calling me out specifically, and I've been goading him, so I'm okay with that. But I said to him, "Do you accept that I will debate you at any time or place, but you're going to do it on my platform?" And he's a big, strong boy with a big, strong brain, and he's big and brave and bold, and yet somehow has never responded to me on that.
Yeah, he only wants to do his debate one-on-one in private.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants a neutral platform, but it's not
No,
like
he
when he
keeps
was on
changing.
here. Yeah, I guess he does. But
He
when
does,
talks
yeah.
about but when he talks about neutral platform, he makes it sound like when he was here that he had no control, right? That I was like constantly muting him or not letting him talk or anything. And it wasn't. It's like, what neutral platform could he go to where he would have just as much, I guess, freedom to say what he wants?
I think what he's after is essentially the same type of neutral platform that Muslims want when they're doing that test. You know, the one where nobody could write a book as good as the Quran. They want a neutral platform in order to identify that, and the only neutral platform are Quranic scholars who believe in this and require it to be true. So yeah, that's it. So he only wants a neutral platform, in so much as that it protects him.
Yeah. What a coward. Just
Oh,
what
yeah.
a sniveling, childish buffoon of a human being.
Hey, Craig, that, well, we're not all technically related to plants. Well, we are, but I made a comment just the other day saying that I think to Flojo, suggesting that he's more closely related to a cabbage than I am. He's retained more of those genes.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, I am part couch potato.
Aren't we all?
And if you are what you eat, well,
Yeah.
I think I'm 3/4 Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yes.
Right. Do you guys have Kentucky Fried Chicken?
No, we live in the backwaters where that hasn't been invented yet. Of course we have Kentucky Fried Chicken.
No, it's just Kentucky Fried. No, I didn't know if
No,
they had
KFC.
their franchise over there yet.
No.
Also
Well,
Tennessee
we
fried
got-
chicken mainly.
we got 4 in my little city of them.
It's always weird which of these fast food places franchises get out into different countries. So, like for example, like in Korea, apparently, like I can't remember if it was Pizza Hut or one, but like those franchises when they get in, it's completely different than here. It's not like it's fast food. It's almost like kind of a prestigious joint to go to. So. It's
Yeah, well,
always
there's
funny
that
when-
thing. There's that KFC thing in Japan for Christmas. You've
Yes.
seen that? It's
No.
it's the thing in Japan
I didn't
that
mention
KFC is Christmas dinner.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah, it is their thing. It's huge.
Which, by
Was it
the
the
way,
50s? I think
ironically,
it started.
ironically, this is not a bit. I am 100% serious about this. In our family, for Christmas, it's tradition to get Chinese food.
Oh yeah.
That seems
It's
perfectly
a
reasonable to
Jewish
me.
tradition over here to get
Well,
Chinese
that-
food at Christmas.
Well, part of it is because most restaurants close, except
Yeah.
a lot of Chinese restaurants stay open
Yeah, that's true.
That's part of it. And
because
also,
they're a bunch of heathens. That's
yeah,
why.
that's true. That yeah.
I,
And
I, I
also
would
it
have
has to
thought,
do with
Neil, that you guys were super keen on the Indian food as your thing, because that's what, whenever you see anything on English TV, always talking about going and getting a curry.
Oh, yeah.
But most of them are run by Bangladeshis, and they're Muslim, and they take Christmas off.
Ah, damn, they're oily hides.
Yeah. I tried it one year. I went to try and go get curry for Christmas, and it's like all shut. Chinese was open, but not the Indian.
Curious. Very
That's when we
interesting.
went
I didn't
there.
even think
Weird.
about that.
That is weird, though.
It's a fun little world we live in.
Of course.
Yeah, let me then go on to this other thing. So on Twitter, what people do is they'll sometimes like put you on stupid lists, and you get a notification that you're on the list. So this person put me on this list called scientific illiterate, which is kind of hilarious that someone who knows less about science than I do puts me on a list like this. And this the other person, this Space Trinity, she was another one that did that. No, she is this one. She at least has like 3 followers. Most of the time they don't have any followers for the list. But what did I say here? Oh, so this is where I challenged her to come to my YouTube stream to actually, prove that I am science illiterate. So this is where I get this. Oh yeah. What can you? Oh no, this is a different one. But this person goes on about how I can't. That instead of like going having this discussion, I could just express my knowledge of science right there, which is kind of stupid because you could just like look up something or even just chat GPT something and make it sound like you know what you're talking about. Whereas if it's like a live discussion, you would have to be able to think on your feet. But this, so I guess it was a different response. So Cat and Just Me, she's someone who she's the one that asked about, when did your daughter's life begin? But she's saying, oh, wow, they won't come on my show so I can make money off of them and edit what they say. I mean, come on, it's a live stream. What part of the live stream do you not get? How am I going to like real time edit this?
And they consider themselves the smart ones.
See, if people can put chips in silicon chips in vaccines, then they can live stream and edit on the fly. It's a thing.
Yes.
Surely that is available to the atheist elite. And atheist inner circle.
Well, haven't got that yet, so I'm not there yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, but of course QC's got to be. He's got a podcast and everything.
And oh my God, I'm waiting for my YouTube money, and it's late this month, and so now I'm not going to be able to afford that KFC dinner. What can I do?
Considering the number of views, you'd better hope that they sell popcorn chicken by the single.
Even then, I couldn't use this money to buy that. But apparently, I need the YouTube views so I can have some KFC. And yeah, so I point out I have like a few hundred subs. But okay. And so this is like, okay, let's have a real discussion right here. How? I mean, it's just.
Is this
just
blowjob a different name?
I mean, they're just so afraid to have a discussion, like a real discussion. I mean, it gets me. Actually, I mean, to be fair, I think if you haven't ever gone online, to anything like this and had a real discussion, I guess it can sound intimidating. Yeah, and the idea of like a talking to a real live person, that you had, kind of goaded on online. I guess that could seem intimidating.
It
But
can
then-
be, yeah.
I guess
Oh.
if you can't.
Guess what?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Jesus Never Tapped posted 51 minutes ago. This live stream has been running for 56 minutes. So, guess who?
Yep.
If you pop over to the latest Atheist Experience, we can put the proof that Jesus Never Tapped lied about not being able to attend.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
catch him. We can put it there right in the video. And no matter whether he deletes it afterwards, it's there.
It stays there forever.
Well, I pointed out to you that when I commented on one of his posts that came up after 9 o'clock, he deleted it, and he's never denied it. Every time I brought it up, he always tries to change the subject.
Yeah.
He does that all
As
the
we
time.
said,
so
he's a coward. He's an utter coward.
God,
If he
Um,
can't
he-
win, then he won't
it
come.
really is just pathetic.
And here's a comment from a Russian bot. YouTube streamers are where illiterates go so that they can make it easier to perform without substance and use that to pretend they won. Apparently, this guy thinks that having a discussion is some kind of contest where there's some, winning. I guess maybe he's like a Andrew Wilson advocate or something. But they have this idea that, and even when there's like a formal debate, it's hard to say someone won. Unless it's like what's his name, Jordan Peterson, where he completely shut down when he was asked whether he's a Christian. Outside of that, it's hard for you to, win definitively, objectively say that you won or lost. So definitely, this platform isn't about winning. So when I told him that this is just for a discussion, I'm not trying to make money or get views. And I talk about how people run away when challenged. So this guy's like saying adorable. As I said, it's for illiterates to use showmanship versus reasoned debate. And just like he's doing here, right in here, where he's obviously not an illiterate and he's obviously not being just a showman, and he's obviously using reason to win this debate, right? Because you couldn't possibly get on a YouTube live stream and have a real discussion. But enough with the sarcasm.
Well, I could say that sounds like it's projection, but
Yeah. Is Metathronos the guy from Andrew Wilson?
yes, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Either bold or clueless. Oh, you mean actually like trying to have a legitimate discussion is being either bold or clueless? I guess. I mean, if all you're really thinking is some kind of like, that is some kind of contest, yeah, I guess you could do that. But
This Metathronos is still trying to cope.
So if you guys,
I mean, this-
want to jump over and screenshot Jesus Never Tapped, I'm about to put the comment up.
Do it.
okay.
You posted this after 9 p.m. on Saturday. You claimed you couldn't debate me on QC's channel because you work after 9 p.m. on Saturday. When I call you a coward, this is what I'm talking about. So if you want to screenshot it, it's there. Now.
Metathronos is a live stream, so if I edit it's no longer on the live stream. It becomes a video, FYI. But yes, for some reason, I don't know what happened, but a bunch of Andrew Wilson guys, not a bunch, a few of them started commenting recently. Apparently, they don't like people expressing their opinions, so they kept on going on about how me expressing my opinion somehow hurt.
It's
Oh, no, I'm gonna have-
deplatforming. It's deplatforming.
Yeah, that's right. It's deplatforming. Yeah, I mean, like, I just don't get how they don't get that, right? It's like they have to somehow make it like I was like doing something against Andrew Wilson by expressing my opinion. It's just I can't like get any of their arguments on that. But anyway, so all right, I was actually trying to find that comment that you're making. So oh, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
it's-
Metathronos. I'm sorry for calling you an Andrew Wilson guy. Obviously, you're not. Okay. All right. So I hope he doesn't start crying about that. So I was trying to find that comment that you made, but that might be too. I might not have enough time.
Look, this is on the AXP.
Which video?
Jesus Never Tapped. It's the latest one.
Is it the
Oh.
trans people one?
Hang on, what's
No,
it
there's-
called?
how did you
No,
decide
proves
that
it
there's no evidence for God?
with Matt Dillahunty, bald head on it. The throwback. And Dan Baker.
Oh,
Don Baker.
that's no longer the latest, but
Well, it's showing for me. Oh, you're a member, aren't you?
no, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's like third down from the top. When sorted
Yeah,
by newest.
I did say Metatronos was crying, but I guess he did. Sorry, Meta. Let me see.
Yeah, what a coward.
Is it this one?
There it
Many in this audience left the truth faith to follow the satanic delusion of atheism.
That makes me a Satan. Yep. Okay. Here.
If you believe in Satan, you're no longer an atheist. You lost your atheism card.
Ah.
What's the likelihood that he'll actually? Normally, he just like ignores these, doesn't he?
Yeah, so when it doesn't
Yeah.
when he doesn't think that he can play gotcha or have some sort of false machismo alpha whatever crap that he can use as a response, then he'll respond to those. But when you actually call him out and you correct him, suddenly he's too busy to respond to his own posts. Except that he put up a post saying that he would debate anytime, anywhere, which is how the latest wave between he and I started. Because I said, okay, fine, I'll debate you this Saturday. But then all of a sudden it's, well, don't bother responding because I never read the comments. But then he started responding to the comments, and then he started responding to other people's comments. So I started pointing that out, and then he just went into a big hissy fit.
I think that's his only condition.
Just hissy fit?
It's his default state.
Yeah. Well, when you spend that much time getting sweaty and being pinned by men on mats, maybe it is. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he just likes to watch, John.
Oh, damn.
No. That man is way too interested in men's voices being whispered into his ear to just want to watch.
Yes.
Ooh.
Maybe just give a little friendly reach around.
Oh, actually, since Meta is here, and sorry, I know he's not an Andrew Wilson guy, but did you guys see that Andrew Wilson thing about opening a jar?
Wait, what?
No, I haven't.
No, okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so obviously the only reason that a woman needs a man is to open jars, right? So, and it's just a sign of how much of a man you are if you can open a jar, right? So, I hope I don't have to go through this whole thing here, but let me.
There's
see
a
if I
lot
can
about him that is jarring.
Cited all of the statistics on it yesterday.
Oh wait,
It's
hold on.
easier because it's an olive.
Okay, so So they
Okay.
they
Hold on,
give
hold on.
her
No,
this
no,
jar
that's
to
coming
open.
through.
I'm
Pop
going to try to
champagne.
speed this
Yeah,
up.
that's for the
What up,
olive
guys?
jar. And
Oh, I
it's,
have to open it right now?
yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
it's easier because it's an olive jar, though. Wait, put it.
My nail is fucking me up.
Yes, I do have a source for that. If you would like it, it's from the NIS. Anybody can find it. I just cited all of the statistics on it yesterday. Uh-oh. Come on, you can do
Yeah.
it.
Put it right side up.
You
just
can
so
do it.
it's
You got
going.
this.
All right, bro, I can't do it. Here.
All right. I guess, yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
I'm supposed to open the pickle jar?
It's like a, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, dude, this seems a little immature. No.
Okay.
For $1,000.
So
$7,000.
Yeah, but it seems slightly immature.
so of course he's a big strong guy. So of course he can
You
open
can't
it.
open it either.
Well, your hand greased the whole top of it.
It's my hand or mine. Here, I have a.
So it's her fault
Wait,
that
did
he
you
can't
really
open
just
it.
say your hand greased it all on top?
Oh.
Literally greasy hands.
Yeah, he's blaming her for him not being able to open that jar.
It literally, it's look, feel it. Isn't that greasy?
It was like that already. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
no,
oh
it
my God.
wasn't. You greased the top.
Use
Oh
your
my
shirt.
Jesus,
Use your
Andrew!
shirt.
If you can't open the olive jar, you cannot blame my.
I mean, like he's like coping so hard because he knows he looks like an idiot. I mean, because of his brand, right? Because of his brand is this macho, big, strong guy, and a woman can't open a jar, but a man can, right? That's part of his brand.
While we're doing olive jar.
If you're so strong, you should open it.
Yeah, I got to be able to grip it.
Okay, we'll grip it. Let's
It's
go.
literally slippery.
Uh-oh.
Grab me a paper towel so I can dry the top of it off.
Okay, once the top is dry, if you still
Do we
get
now
it.
need to allow her another?
Shirt? Yeah, but oh.
How long does this
Yeah.
go?
Well, it goes for a little bit longer. So okay, so he can't, right? And he copes real hard.
Fucking Fort Knox.
Philosophy book.
Here, go.
Just can't grip it.
Okay, now I want it to be.
I got
good.
it.
He just can't. He
Yeah,
just.
I know it's
I mean, maybe
It's
Come
just
on, bud.
greasy.
maybe his hands are like too small and he can't get a good grip. So maybe that's why. But here's a funny thing. Okay.
Favorite record. Ah.
We got a little olive juice out. Let's get off the table.
Well, because it's had it on.
Oh, wait,
it's on-
no.
No, that doesn't mean it
Maybe
shows
that
every
was-
single
Fine,
one.
just-
Yourself. You can't get your fucking hand on it. Try it. Nah, you fucker. That's
Oh.
bullshit. Bullshit.
All right.
Sure, after I loosened it up for you.
So this big strong guy, a really big strong guy, comes in. You like, it opens it just like with a slight twist. It's just, and of course he's gonna say that he loosened it, right?
Yeah.
He loosened it. Yeah, surely
Yeah.
he loosened it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if he kind
A
of
little olive juice out.
realized it, but
All right, guys,
but he's
so,
trying.
we have pickle jars for each of you.
Doesn't someone have to pay an
Okay,
additional
so
$1,000?
here
he
we go
tries
again.
really hard, to kind of laugh it off, but
You can.
yeah, it
he's
was not a
certain.
good move.
He is. Just looking at the face there, he is not good, is he? You see certain.
Oh yeah, he looked like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, of course, it's if you aren't trying to make this point that man is the big strong man and your strength is what defines you as a man, this is what happens, right? You make yourself look like a pitiful person who's not a man because that's how he was defining it as a man.
The other day I was wandering along and saw a woman walking past in the supermarket wearing a shirt that I had to come home and tell my wife about, and so I'm definitely getting her one of those for Christmas. It says, I'm a competent woman, I can do anything except reach the top shelf. It's a running joke in our house because my wife is quite short.
I see. And by the way, so what Neil put in, if that you use hot water to heat expands the lid, there's physics. So I do that. That's what I do. If it's really hard to open a jar, I either like run a hot water or I have like a heating gun, and that works really well because it doesn't take much time.
Yeah,
it does
so-
two things
Mostly
actually.
the force is the vacuum, isn't it? So it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
it's twisting. It's the vacuum.
Well, no, the vacuum does a little bit, but there is that adhesive force between the rubber stopper and the top of the lid, so the top of the glass. So it does two things. It does push.
Okay.
Yeah, it does push that lid slightly larger, but it also softens that rubber. in that process as well. So allowing it to begin to stretch a little bit and then break away. But
it's using your brain, right? Not your brawn.
yeah,
And Meta, I can definitely tell he's not an Andrew Wilson guy because he pretty much calls out Andrew Wilson isn't a man, because he says what you have left to us to say that it was a man that opened it. Yeah, it was a man that opened it, and Andrew Wilson, I guess, is not a man. So I didn't think Meta had to do all that just to prove that he's not an Andrew Wilson guy, but if that's what he wants to do.
Well played.
All right. Okay, so I'm not sure so this was supposed to be a discussion about abortion, and I was actually hoping that one of the trolls on Twitter would actually come on and try to defend their view. But I guess that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, well, good luck with that, unfortunately.
One side note in terms of the abortion thing is, did we talk about that Vance Bolter guy? Did we not talk about Vance Bolter?
a little bit, I think, last week.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we showed that of him preaching in wherever he was. What's astounding to me is that people are still going on about him being not being a MAGA, but being a Dem. Apparently, he in this whatever screed that he left, he makes some comments about how it was Tim Walz that really was the instigator for what he did, and that somehow he, Tim Walz wanted what's her name, Klobuchar,
Maybe Klobuchar.
eliminated so that he can run for the Senate position. That's what they're saying. It's just amazing how even now, despite the mountains of evidence that he's MAGA, and also that he's this virulent Christian nationalist, anti-abortionist, who seems to have taken his action really for the abortion thing. But they want to keep saying that because that guy was in some government, some kind of, that he was appointed to this board, that somehow he was working for Tim Walz, which is far from the truth, because he was appointed as, quote unquote, appointed to a non-paid, non-partisan group of just like about 60 other people who are also non-partisan on an advisory board. It was essentially, it's like a community volunteerism almost.
Yeah,
And it was a, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say he was also appointed by the previous governor before that.
Yeah, he was initially appointed by the previous governor, and Tim Walz just kind of, I mean, I don't think he personally actually appointed him. It's like, it was probably just like a kind of pro forma sort of, okay, these guys haven't killed anyone recently, so we will retain their appointment. I mean, that's all it was. But from the MAGA point of view, this guy was like personally appointed by Tim Walz, and they keep showing that appointment paper as if Tim Walz had personally signed it, when it was probably at best just a printed reproduction, or maybe it was an auto pen. I know these MAGA guys are really into the auto pen thing, but maybe it was just an auto pen. What was that?
Maybe it was just an auto pen.
Yeah. So then it doesn't count because it's an auto pen. But yeah, they're still going on about that because they can't just think that maybe someone who is a fanatic, who is a Christian nationalist, who wants to who thinks that abortion is murder might actually take real drastic steps for, on behalf of their beliefs.
When you talk about
And
fight
also,
like
I
hell,
think yeah, go ahead.
when you have the leader of your movement saying "fight like hell or you won't have a country," and he's never recanted that statement. Can we really be that surprised that things like this happen at their hands?
Well, so in terms of the abortion,
Yeah.
if and we talked about this a little bit earlier in our discussion, the whether you actually believe what you say, do you actually believe that a fertilized egg is an equivalent to a child, a fully born human being, because of that quote unquote potential? Do you actually believe it? And if you actually believe that, if you actually think that all those abortions are actual people, actual human lives being murdered in their view, you would have to be like this guy. You would have to be like Vance, where you go and kill other people. Right?
Because you're defending the defenseless.
Yeah. If you thought that there was in some, strip mall somewhere, an office where they were actually killing human beings. Let's say that is, they were just taking a child off the street and killing them, and they were killing hundreds of children every week. If you actually believe that, aren't you actually kind of not being a human being if you just let it go?
Yeah.
Right? If you just let it happen.
It's the idea of remember, these are the people that said, see something, say something. So these are the people that applaud when somebody wrestles a hijacker to the ground on a plane. These are the people. They're always talking about take action when you see something wrong, but they're silent when it comes to when somebody actually does something in the name of their movement, like this guy did, and they will run for cover. They simply cannot handle any illumination on the actions of their words. They scatter like roaches every time.
Well,
Sorry, I really just kind of have no real patience for them right now.
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, it's fine. I mean, it's like with the 9/11 terrorists. They were willing to die for their beliefs. So all these like anti-abortionists who sit around and just like tweet about how millions of lives are being killed by the Dems, they don't actually believe it, right? Because if they did, they shouldn't be just sitting there. They should be out there like bombing. I mean, I'm not actually obviously advocating it, but I'm saying that the fact that those guys aren't doing that tells you that they don't actually believe that life is
their actions. Their actions don't match the rhetoric.
Yeah, and it is just rhetoric, because if you are someone who actually believed that and you just sat around, then you're a monster. But the thing is, like, it doesn't match reality. It doesn't match reality to say that when an egg fails to implant, that it's somehow a human being died.
Well, and that's the question that I put into the comment section here, and that's one of the questions that I've asked anti-abortionists all the time, which is, if a woman miscarries, doesn't that mean that she should be tried for, at very minimum, involuntary manslaughter? Because by your ideology, she either knowingly or unknowingly did something that caused the death of another human being, according to the anti-abortionists. Therefore, she's guilty, right?
Wasn't there somebody arrested in Georgia
Yeah,
for their miscarriage?
it's
Really?
actually happening. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they are trying to at least work on it from a legislative point of view, whether they actually believe it or not. They are, at least from a, I guess from a controlling a woman point of view, they have to, charge a woman who miscarried with a potential manslaughter or whatever they want to, because a woman miscarrying, they don't know if, the miscarriage happened, quote unquote, naturally, or whether she induced it, right? So they have to charge her if you want to say that, abortion is a murder.
Well, see, because here's where it gets interesting, and the deeper hypocrisy of the anti-abortionist movement is shown bare. That if you know who the father is, then they're an accessory to that manslaughter. And yet you've heard of women being charged with it, but you've never heard of men. This is not about protecting women. This is not about protecting babies. This is about control. 100%.
Yeah, it really is.
That's what it's always been. It has never been, at its core, it has never been about protecting the child. This has been about controlling women, 100%.
Yeah, and Tuna Man makes a funny comment. It's an act of God, and from the Christian point of view, it literally is, because everything is an act of God, right?
Or her.
Why do they want to thwart God's plan?
Yeah, because surely God designed a person and set it all in place for the person to then go and have the abortion at a point down the track. Knew that was going to happen. So, yeah.
Yes, never mind the fact that if you go by the way that the story is told in the Bible, the Christian God is the greatest murderer of fetuses, hands down.
But also, the Bible is not anti-abortion. There is no way the Bible is anti-abortion, because, as I pointed out, the word soul means breath, and so as a result, they didn't think of a fetus as being a person. It wasn't ensouled until it breathed. So, there's nowhere in the Bible that says anything about negative about abortion, regardless of what people want to sort of try and read into it. And the only place that actually mentions an abortion is the Numbers, what's it called, the ritual of the bitter water, where they induce an abortion in a woman for the crime of adultery. That's it. So there's one place where abortion's mentioned in the Bible, and it's God performing an abortion on a woman for a crime as a punishment. So clearly God can't be against abortion if God's performing it.
But remember, because God did it, that makes it okay. Right?
Yeah.
Of course.
But yes, it's so the husband drags his wife along to the priest, and the priest does his ritual, and then God judges and makes the abortion happen. So if you give somebody a substance that will cause an abortion, then that will cause a miscarriage, then that's an abortion.
Yeah, so Craig Kelly asks, if you banned abortion in the U.S., would you not drive up illegal abortions and death rates of both mother and babies? Yes,
Definitely
and in
will,
fact,
yes.
it's
That is
happening.
very true.
It's already having an impact, like in Texas, because there is all these like anti-abortion laws. Doctors are afraid to do any kind of procedures that might appear to be an abortion or could be classified as an abortion. So if a woman has a miscarriage and has complications, and they have to actually surgically get rid of that fetus, they actually can't do it in Texas until the woman gets to be close enough to death where they could do it as an emergency procedure. So there are cases where women have essentially like almost, I don't know how many of them actually died, but essentially like bleeding to death in a parking lot waiting for to get to a point where they can get a doctor to treat her. Go ahead, Blarg.
Do you see just recently there was a Republican senator
Yeah.
who needed an abortion because she had an ectopic implantation, and so the doctors were super sketchy about wanting to give that. So I think that was Texas, wasn't it, with the 6 weeks, or was it Florida?
I think it's
Somewhere with a
May-
6 week.
Yeah, it may have been Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway,
that was just wild.
yeah, and it was the 4th week, so not the 6th week. But doctors were still super sketchy about giving an abortion because they were deathly afraid of being charged with murder. So and they and she went on and blamed the Dems for that. And you just go, in what fucking planet are the Dems responsible for doctors being afraid that if they give an abortion, they will get charged for it? They had nothing to do with it, and they argued against it. But no, it was the Dems' fault that she that struggled to get the abortion. And it wasn't until I think she rang up somebody, she could get in touch with somebody, to go over the heads of everybody that talked them into it.
Yeah, so it was Florida's Republican abortion ban. And
Yeah, Florida.
she is saying that the leftists absolutely played a role in making sure that doctors and women were scared to seek out the help that they needed. I mean, just like the gall of this woman. And of course, like, she's all upset because it affected her, right? She never thought about this. So I said this was a pretty high level gaslighting to blame the Dems on this. And because they had recently cut off Medicaid funding for Planned Parenthood. Scaring pregnant women is their brand, and it really is. And Tilting says, that's how gullible people are here. They'll just take her word for it.
Oh yeah.
There are MAGA out there just thinking, oh, those Dems, they want to prevent abortion.
Wait, huh? Yeah.
Actually, it reminds me of the arguments that these guys are putting in, like, well, it was the Republicans that abolished slavery, because at the time, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party essentially were opposites of what they're now. But they want to take credit for it. Just because the Republicans back then was actually progressive, they want to take credit for that without having to be actually progressive. Oh, wait, hold on. How many maggots does it take to change a light bulb? 0. They only use gaslighting.
They actually use gas?
That's really good.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Because I stole that off someone the other day. I thought, ooh, I have definitely taken that one.
That's
Excellent.
So there was a
gonna come back
joke
to you,
that I
Jeff,
heard on the deconstruction zone. Let me see if I can, and I had to steal it, but I couldn't fully remember exactly what was said. So I'm gonna try to hide the punchline so you guys don't get it. Oh shoot! I accidentally hit stop sharing.
Oh, if you're looking for someone who might want to jump on as well, there was a comment that Deconverted Man popped onto one of the earlier streams about maybe coming on or come on his channel, or maybe come on this as well. And you go, yeah, he might.
Yeah, I've not been doing a good job of hooking up to the community, like with the Kentucky atheists. So I've just Let me.
Yeah,
like said, have-
I was actually looking for my discussion about why mythicism doesn't.
yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Yeah. So I haven't had time to really pursue that because I mean it'll definitely help my channel grow to 285. So
It's right there.
Yeah, we're close, but we definitely
Yeah,
come on.
so this I had heard a joke like this, and I just had to sort of reconstruct it. No pun intended. So, what time is it when a Christian apologist claims that the proof of God is that the claim God is necessary to prove God? I guess
I don't know.
agree
What
with
time is
that.
it?
What a time!
What time is it? It's pre-supper time.
Oh, da-da-da-da-da-da.
I actually thought it was funny when I heard it. I maybe it was like the setup was a bit different. I didn't get a chance to go back yet, but I
No,
thought it was
no,
pretty
that
funny.
joke is as good as it's ever going to get.
Yep.
That might be true.
Straight to the point.
All presups have bad setups anyway.
I do love the presup, but basically the syllogism that presups work by. I have a version of that one that I've written out to formalize what their argument is. So and it's always the same one. Hang on, I'll post it.
I've been trying to study a presupposition, see how they think and how they form their arguments. I'm like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, so you've got to start at preposition -1. God necessarily exists, and then preposition 0. I define God's characteristics as X, Y, Z. Given these known characteristics of God, X, Y, Z, God necessarily exists. So it's not circular at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If anyone who argues that it is, it certainly isn't. Look at that. Nothing
There you go. Yeah,
circular
no,
there.
Oh, that's it.
You think
It would be nice if the comments section allowed carriage returns. Would make things look a little better. But, oh well.
Did you try like doing a shift enter?
I don't have that ability. I've got tablet.
Oh, okay. Because I think you should be able to. Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's see actually if this
live
comes
chat
out.
won't allow me.
Oh, I'm able to enter it, but it shows up without the carriage.
Yeah, without
returns.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
My post goes in with the carriage returns, but just the carriage returns disappear
Got it. Okay.
because they exist in the stuff I've copied.
So the not Andrew Wilson guy says, is the issue with God any God or just a perfect God inherited from Platonism? What about a God that doesn't understand or cares about what it created?
Well, there's no reason to believe in that God either, because
Yeah.
Unless there's some evidence that any God exists, then there's no reason to believe in any of them. But the perfect God is easily demonstrably disproven.
Well, you mean the
The,
triomni God, right?
the
Is that what
triomni,
you mean when you
yes.
say- Yeah.
Yeah. That one's super easy to disprove logically. It can't possibly exist.
Yeah. But, if there's a God that doesn't understand or cares about what it created, then who cares, right?
It's nice to know. It's a little bit like I'd be happy to know that, because it's just like a scientific question. I'm interested in all of that. So I'd like to know why the universe looks the way it does. And if the answer is a God did it, fine, I'm okay with that. If the answer is it's natural, fine, I'm okay with that.
But that's only true if it's actually informative, right?
Well, I
if
don't know.
it's just matter of God did it, and it tells us nothing
Well,
about
it
the
doesn't help us,
universe.
but you know, it would be nice if it was more useful than telling us nothing about the universe. But if the facts don't care about what I like, so if that turns out to be the fact, then so be it. I'm pretty sure it won't turn out to be the fact, but if it does turn out to be that, then yeah. So what?
So the question I would have for you is that if there really is a God, and if we are able to know about it, is it possible to know about it without it being informative? Like the very fact that if we get knowledge that there is a God, isn't it almost impossible to have that knowledge without it being informative?
Oh, it depends what you mean by informative.
I
We've
don't
been
necessarily mean
informed.
useful.
Yeah. Well,
In the sense that it serves the function of informing. So this is information that you now have, which you didn't have before.
No, but in order to get to that point, don't
Right.
you have to have a set of information that would take you to that point?
well, yeah, I guess so.
Because otherwise, it's completely detached piece of information that's not connected to anything in reality.
Yeah, well, unless that God pops in and tells us itself, then the only way to get there is via the other direction, from working it out via reality. So,
But
yeah,
in either
it
case,
depends.
there is a set of information that takes you to that information that God exists. Like if God
Well,
popped into existence and told us, that is a whole set. That's a lot of information that tells
well,
us,
not
that takes us to that
necessarily.
point.
That God could just pop into existence and make that knowledge, make the belief appear in our heads with no information backing it.
I think you're right. If you invoke magic like that, I
Yeah,
mean, it sort of is magic, right?
Well, that is magic. If we're
Yeah,
accepting
right.
that a God could exist, then there's nothing to stop that God modifying the contents of everybody's brain such
Yeah,
that
yeah.
those brains believe in
what
it.
you're saying is, if you presuppose a God,
No. You don't need to presuppose it. If that God exists and it chooses to go screw QC,
Yeah.
we're not doing it his way. We're doing it my way without
So
also Frank
any
Sinatra.
information. We're doing it without information. Then
well, here's
yeah.
the thing. Here's the thing is like that actually results in a set of information because we're able to say, here is everyone that in the world, they all have this piece of information.
See, information flows down from it, not up to it.
Down. Yeah, I guess you could say it is coming down from it. But then it
Yeah.
becomes that information, it becomes informative. Right?
Yeah,
It
but
actually
it
tells us
didn't
something.
start that way. We didn't start with information to get to the God. We started with the God and got information.
Right,
So,
which makes it informative.
So semantics wins. Hooray!
That's all presupposition is. It's semantics, really.
And,
But let's say,
I think,
I mean, it's an interesting idea. If everyone in the entire universe had this same belief that we have no idea where it came from, I think that would be a really good evidence of a God.
oh yeah, like if Europeans turned up in Australia and finds crosses and images of God and people praying the Lord's
Yeah.
Prayer,
Yeah.
the Aboriginal people doing that everywhere, you'd go, yeah, all right. And maybe that's the true story, but
Yeah.
we know for a fact that no person has ever worshipped that God. That there's no evidence anywhere that anyone's ever turned up and discovered a person worshipping God that didn't learn about it from someone who already was told about it. So it's been passed person to person, not God to person.
Right.
I did want to just make a duck back to a comment from Meta and saying, the God that doesn't care or understands what it created explains the problem of pain and suffering better. Explains it 100%. It's just like evolution doesn't care about pain and suffering. So 100%, that's completely true. Only a perfectly good God that would, well, actually, it doesn't even need to be a perfectly good God. It doesn't need to be omnibenevolent. It only needs to be benevolent in order for it to, but it needs to be omniscient and omnipotent.
Omnipotent, yeah.
Yeah, so if it has those two characteristics,
of the three, as long as you get rid of one of them, you can, you'll definitely be in a better position.
Yeah, you don't need omnibenevolence. You only need benevolence for for pain and suffering to still be a problem. But if you drop benevolence, then it's no longer a problem. You drop any of the other two, either of the other two omnis, it's not a problem. Because it might be that the God is just not capable of preventing pain or suffering in order for the rest of it to work. That's all fine. You completely destroy that argument if you drop the omnis. But most Christians do not want to drop the omnis. So they argue around and then try and throw up something about free will. So I have a version of that argument that doesn't require free will because it's the it's the unnecessary. I've got rid of evil out of it because people argue about evil, and I've just used unnecessary suffering as the argument, and then we can refer to the unnecessary suffering of animals. So therefore, you can't then make an argument that God needs to do this thing to test you or to grow your soul or whatever the other sort of piece of it that various apologists try.
Yeah, I mean, it makes better sense that the God, if it exists and is omniscient and omnipotent, that he's actually evil or he's malicious, right? If you see what's happening, it's actually easier to believe a malicious God that's omnipotent and omniscient.
That would be well matched to what we observe.
Yeah.
Because, wow, there's a lot of suffering. And the God described in the Bible, Yeah,
it's not the suffering itself. It's just the unnecessary suffering.
Ooh, here's another one of these giant posts that will bounce around lots of bits.
Oh, jeez.
There it is. Spam.
I do enjoy this one.
TLDR, baby.
You know what you should do is if you could just actually put this up as a Word document, you could just share it on screen.
Yep. Can't do that either. Tablet doesn't like to.
Oh, you know what you can do?
I should. You know what I should do is I should get my laptop out. I should get my laptop out and use that in the future.
Because, within your laptop, can you send me this stuff?
Probably, but I'll post it up in the comments after the thing, since we talked about it.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll wrap it up here, and just to Meta. No, Meta, I don't think you are Andrew Wilson lackey, or I don't actually care if you are, but I'm just ribbing with you. So I hope you're okay with that. But thanks for participating anyway.
Yeah, the engagement was good.
Yep. It wasn't completely. It's not like that Paul guy coming in and just saying outrageously nonsensical. Oh, Timothy,
I did get booted.
Timmy.
But anyway, actually, Meta, if you actually want to come on and defend your God, you're definitely welcome to do that, as long as you can do it civilly. Obviously, if you don't want to, then that's fine as well. So All right. With that, I will end it here. And once again, I was actually thinking about this earlier. I'm not sure what happened to Ook. It may be because of my fault, not sending out the link in time. So, Ook, if you're listening, I'm sorry about that. I actually did think that I had sent this to you like 2 or 3 days ago, and I was going to make fun of you guys if any of you guys missed that email, but it was definitely my fault.
Yeah, but I think we can take that. But then
I
we can
spent
figure
a
out
good 10 minutes going through my emails going, where did I miss it? Where did I miss it? Where did it?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
is not cute.
And
maybe he's got ligma.
all right. Thank you, Tilting, for your comments. And again, I will have to commend you for showing up on time.
Yeah, didn't stuff it up
Yeah,
once.
well done.
We have
And,
QC to thank for attempting that.
And Craig, somehow he's continued to able to show up despite the time. Although Neo, thank you for being on, because I know for both of you guys it's pretty late out there.
You guys are soldiers.
All right, and thank you too. Now, was that?
Carsten, the Dane, he's quite funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
But
he,
it will be about 3 a.m. for him. So
Oh, is that right? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that'll do it for this week, and I hope to see you guys back next week. And if any of you guys have suggestions for topics, do let me know. But I will try to get one of the two guys, Rex or
Alex.
who's the other? Alex? Yeah, Rex. Oh, Rex or Alex? Okay, one of those guys. So I'll try to be more on top of it from a guest point of view.
There's always
All right.
there's also John as well. The
Yeah.
is it John the philosophy.
Joe,
That's it.
yeah.
Joe,
Yeah.
the philosophy guy.
Yeah.
He's great as well.
No, I was thinking of him as well. So I'll at least ping those guys and see what happens.
Yeah,
So
and maybe
we'll have.
get in contact with
Yeah.
Deconverted Man and see if he's interested in popping in too.
See, that would actually be a lot of work, but I'll try. but I will try. All right.
I could
with
always
that,
extend the offer if if it's too much for the
well,
for the
so
great man.
for the deconverted man, I don't know if you do hear this and if you can reach out, do so or DM me on Twitter. Either way, but I'll try to get on your channel and try to reach out to you as well.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. This was another fun stream. So I'll see you next week.
Thank y'all. See you again.
Well,
Take care.